Welcome to a brand new video. This is Timelapze here, bringing you something very exciting. I actually lost to a Reddit Bravo, shout out to them, but in a moment I'm going to scroll up and show you who I had an opportunity to play some games with. Colton was humble enough to join our clan and play some friendlies with me. I was talking with him about a deck that I made that you guys have all seen already, and if you haven't, check it out in one of my previous videos, or you can look on the screen and see the deck that I've been running. It went well. We actually went three each when we played Giant Lightning. He threw one game in there with the Rocket Miner, which devastated the deck. So together we came up with some alternatives, which we'll talk about at the very end. We're both testing out different variations of this deck, but originally he really didn't think that it was going to work. He was very skeptical. He didn't think that this type of deck would be able to withstand even Giant Lightning, which, if you've seen in my previous videos, I've been talking about how that is a very, very difficult deck to face. But I've been somewhat successful against it, and this video you'll see we go 3 for 3. Many mistakes were made. Neither of us are perfect. He is a very, very talented, very skilled player of the game. He understands the mechanics, but nevertheless, both of us make mistakes, and I don't think that it would have gone any other way between the two decks we were running. 50-50 sounds about right. If we played perfectly, it'd probably still be 50-50 and come down to starting hand disadvantage. You'll notice that in the first handful of games, I don't start with a bowler in hand, which is actually really tough. Starting with a bowler is very, very useful. It's kind of like starting with your giant in the back. If you can start with your bowler in the back, going same lane, I've talked about it before, it's fantastic. So the first handful of games, I actually started with a little bit of a disadvantage, but then in the later games, he actually ends up beating me even when I had the advantage. So I think that the deck is just 50-50. However, when he played the Rocket Miner, it really pointed out some of the weaknesses and flaws in the deck, which he mentioned prior to playing, and that's why he was so skeptical, since that is such a meta deck right now. But nevertheless, we wanted to see how does this deck hold up against Giant Lightning. And in the current meta, Tornado is very, very useful, but the things that his deck did really well in the variant that he ran is he had guards. Guards are really good against countering the Miner Rocket. Nobody's really running Skarmy anymore, and he's shifted away from it. The last 3 days, the meta has shifted so much that he noticed that my Electro Wizard, I wasn't getting that much value out of it. So together we had some insights into what went well and what didn't go well with the deck. He was actually surprised it went well. I've been playing it for quite some time now, so I thought I could compete with this deck, but the meta has shifted and I will have to shift with it. Guards are shifting back into the meta. He's running guards. I'm about to start running guards. They do a really good job, even though right now when I'm talking, the guards just got plowed by the bowler, but guards do a really good job. They are going to be very vital for countering the Miner Rocket. Guards also do a good job against the Prince, which has shifted back into the meta. Again, with Skarmy being out, guards are ever so slightly becoming in again. So there's a lot of changes I'm going to make to this deck. Another one is I didn't get that much value out of arrows. In this heavy deck that he's using, there's nothing that really is arrowable. So after our handful of games, we had a good chat afterwards, and we're going to both be testing out different variants of this deck because I think it is very viable. We just have to find the right combination that works. The first one that came to mind was Freeze. That's a very good support to Graveyard, especially in double Elixir when you're just bankrolling in Elixir. So one test I started running, and he did as well, so far pretty successful on ladder, is using the Freeze rather than the arrows. Additionally, using guards rather than Electro Wizard, which I will say, I've been using Electro Wizard since the challenge. On the challenge, I went, I think, 8 straight, and my Electro Wizard right now, I think, is 3 out of 10 from level 3 up to level 4. That game actually right there, if you slow it down, he may have been able to get a log off a little bit earlier. I couldn't quite tell. He did do an emote first. Either way, it was very close. That one was just about 50-50. The next game, same deck, so you're going to see a lot of the similar gameplays, and I won't highlight too much about what we did right and wrong. It's, I think, very visible for the very competitive players. I will talk about a couple of the things that went well and didn't go well, and you can kind of tell when somebody's done something completely wrong. It's kind of like when you're watching, say, baseball, and you see them just throw the ball above the hitter and hit the backstop, and you're thinking, wow, that definitely wasn't on purpose. Well, when you have two players that are very competitive, playing the game to its fullest, trying to minimize mistakes and thwart as much damage as possible, you start to notice that this is what the game is intended to look like when you're playing, especially at tournament standards. Ladder, that's another story, but for tournament standards, you should see a lot of these plays. It's just knowing what card to use and when and why, and how to use it and where to use it and where's your troop placement. There's so many little things that all add up, and one thing that this game really showcased and highlighted in my mind is Tornado. Tornado really accentuates the aspects of what range a troop has. That placement right there that he had of that Executioner was actually really, really good. I don't know if you noticed that. It was able to counter 2 troops and still have a little bit of value being alive. I think it gets shot down. It doesn't really do too much damage, but it was able to get an even trade with mine, plus the positive trade from the value of the Electro Wizard. But what I was saying is, when you see two players playing at near optimum, I won't say that either of us are perfect. I would say he has the definite edge of skill. He has been around a little bit longer. He's had a lot more competition under his belt, whereas I'm a little bit newer to this circuit. I will at the end announce that I have taken an offer to merge with another clan and join an esports organization. So you might see a little bit more of me, especially in RPL and maybe a couple other ladders. I did post today that somebody shared with me Game Battles Team Ladder is a thing for Clash. I don't know if anybody ever played Call of Duty. If you're looking at screen right now, that Tornado actually forced him to use his log, and I got a little bit of sneaky damage out of that. And then I was able to get a little bit of value, but then he played his guards pretty well, and it was kind of a cluster right here. Things are not going as well as I would have liked, but it is what it is. So back to what I was saying, this deck needs to be adjusted slightly. Arrows is going to make for a better graveyard fear, with less people running Skarmy, having freeze to counter their Executioner is very useful. And then for times when you don't really need freeze and you have another supporting troop, it's kind of like having your bowler in the front. You can either have the bowler tank or you can freeze. Either way, it's stopping damage. So that was a very good insight by Colton, which I hadn't really thought about, even though I did play freeze prior. I just hadn't really tested it out with this deck. So as I was saying, this deck I think is very viable, especially on ladder. It only becomes a testament of skill when you get to the top level and you can see mistakes being made and when to do what and why. But I really have enjoyed playing this deck. The meta has just shifted. So I don't think that Graveyard is out of the meta at all, and I don't think that it will be. I think that Graveyard, for at least a while longer, is going to be in the meta for the long haul. So I know that there have been people who have asked me to stop running Graveyard decks, but I can't stop, won't stop. I've just really enjoyed playing with the card, even though it's a little bit RNG. For the most part, kind of put in the same placement every time. It's very rare that I adjust my placement. But the thing I want to highlight about this deck and why it works against a lightning when you would think that there's so many things that are weak to lightning in this deck is that there are too many things. There's an Inferno Tower, there's the Ice Golem, there's the Executioner, there's the Bowler, all of which can survive lightning. And then there's a tower if you want to throw that into the mix. So if you know how many troops are weak to lightning, you can never get all of them down at the same time by lightning alone. Now, there was a couple times when I had my troop placements a little weak, and he was able to log and lightning and take out just about everything, because a lightning plus log will kill everything except for the Bowler. Actually, I'm not sure if it'll kill the Ice Golem, but he isn't that big of a threat after he's been lightning anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. The Bowler does have a lot of health after being lightning, and so does the Inferno Tower if it was at full. But it was difficult for him to get enough value out of lightning each time. He was able to take down a couple of troops, but not all of them. And one thing that he notices right here, my Bowler kept knocking back his Executioner. But after it throws the axe, it doesn't knock it back far enough to be out of range, and this deck starts to feel more like a beatdown deck. As soon as you can get a couple of these strong, heavy troops alive for a counter push, it just becomes too close to a beatdown deck, and you just drop the graveyard similar to like a giant graveyard. So this deck being control is a little bit deceiving because it ends up being and feeling like a beatdown deck sometimes, even though most of what you do is just control the game. So I want to pivot a little bit. I want to start talking a little bit more about my channel and what I intend to bring to this arena. I want to bring the most competitive gameplay that I can. I will admit I am not perfect. I mean, today I was watching a couple other YouTubers that I will not name names because I don't want to ever degrade anything that somebody successful is doing. Rather, I want to look up at them and emulate what I can and learn from some of their mistakes and take what I can away from it. I mentioned in many posts and videos that I am a huge fan of Yarn. I appreciate what he's done for the game. I'm a huge fan of Ash, the one who just came back from the hiatus, Ash Hack. He's a fantastic player. I think both of them are students of the game. They understand the mechanics. They understand the things that are unwritten. If you're looking on screen, that Inferno placement right there probably was what won me the game because it wasn't lightningable, and I think this deck is actually stronger when you have a tower down. It's very difficult to come back when you have a tower down. So if you ever have the opportunity to trade towers with this type of deck, it's still viable even though it's using Graveyard, which is somewhat weaker when there's a tower down. So back to what I was saying, there are many successful YouTubers, and I appreciate everything they've done. However, I was watching some other gameplay, especially when they do live gameplays or streaming. Nobody's perfect. It's all about getting a little bit better every time. And so my goal is to bring to the community through this channel another outlet for you to consume data, whether it's like just looking at mechanics or whether it's looking at gameplay. I hope that every time you view it or watch any of my videos or any of the videos from an OJ or an Ash or a Colton or a Chief Pat that you take away something. And even if all you take away from it is the entertainment factor, because I understand not everybody is a competitive player, not everybody is out there to join esports or do any of that. Some people just enjoy the game and enjoy watching it, and that is awesome. I enjoy watching football. I'm going to watch the Super Bowl next Sunday. I am a terrible football player. I'm also a terrible basketball player. However, I enjoy watching it. So my goal, however, is to target those who want to get better or improve, but at the same time, those who enjoy my voice. No, that was actually a joke. There are a few people that have said that they enjoy the tone of my voice and they will watch all the videos just for that, or I should go join CNN and be a reporter or something, but I digress. My goal is to bring a little bit of something to everybody. However, I am much more in the vein of a Yarn, where I'm very analytical. I want to exploit the mechanics of the game. Exploit might be a bad term to use, but I want to maximize and optimize the mechanics of the games for my benefit, which the Bowler, Executioner, Tornado right now, especially before the Executioner gets his fix, I won't call it a nerf, but after he gets his fix, this combo will not be as broken. However, this combo right now is very, very strong, and it was the first thing that I tried as soon as I got the Executioner, and the reason is I was using troops that were weak to Executioner as my range type troops or air damaging troops, and my goal was to find a replacement that could infiltrate and do damage behind, but maybe survive. Whereas minions, they were just getting thrashed. Mega Minion was getting thrashed. I just was excited about this Executioner because it was going to fit into this deck that I've already built. I had a post maybe 3 months ago, it feels like. I don't know when Graveyard came out. I don't have it in front of me, but when Graveyard first came out, I had a post. And if you notice that Inferno locked on to the support troop, which is kind of funny, actually. I got lucky there, but I had a post when Graveyard first came out, and the first thing I said was, I think that the Giant Graveyard is going to be fantastic. And then I tried it, and I couldn't find a deck that worked with it, and I said, never mind, it's terrible. And what do you know, right now, the Giant Graveyard is a meta deck. So it's funny how those things happen. And one of the comments I had was, maybe you should try Bowler. And I thought, yeah, well, that makes sense. I have a card that can actually do something on defense, whereas the Giant can't really do anything on defense for me, or at least the way I was using it. I had an Ice Golem to kite things, so I didn't really need the Giant on defense. So I switched to the bowler, and I found a lot of success. And sure enough, I posted a guide and posted a couple guides, and in fact, Colton actually built a deck very similarly. So I know that like whatever the phrase is, smart minds think alike, whatever you want to say. He, on through his own right, also came up with a bowler graveyard deck, and together I saw what he did, and I saw OJ's video a while back analyzing the different variants of the deck, and I thought that my control version was preferable with the Inferno Tower. So I'm glad that this new meta was able to bring that back out. I'll talk a little bit about arrows and why I'm removing it. Arrows was really good when there was a really big threat of zap bait. I think this is one of the first games I have bowler in my hand, but I made a mistake right there and played in the wrong lane. That's why I said, oops, you never want to play your bowler in the wrong lane, especially when you have Tornado and Executioner in your deck. I was surprised that Colton never tornadoed my bowler into the opposite lane because it's pretty weak, but him playing that Prince early actually might have been a little bit of a mistake because I got so much value out of this bowler. Like, look at that, it's got 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, 4 hits. It did so much damage to that tower, and I think it might have surprised him because I almost just ignored the giant. Looking back, I made a mistake. I should have played that Electro Wizard a little bit closer to my King Tower in the opposite lane. I don't know if he would have lightninged it, but then I would have gotten damage in the same lane. Hey, there you go. There's a tornado that was a mistake, and later I make mistakes. So, like I was saying, I hope that in every video you're able to take something away from it, either that it's not about being perfect. You don't have to be perfect to hit 4,000 trophies. You don't have to be perfect to hit 5,000. You don't have to be perfect to hit number 2 in the world. You have to be perfect to hit number 1 or win trade. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a huge fan of Marcel P. I think that it's fantastic, the work that he's done, and hitting 1 and 2 between him and Pompeo is fantastic. I think you have to have so much skill to get there. Lately, the ladder has shifted. It used to just be rich people accounts. Now it's very highly skilled players at the top. So, back to what I was saying, I hope that everyone can take something away from this video. My goal is to bring advanced mechanics as well. I don't think that I would be a replacement or overshadowing Yarn over at OJ. I think that at some point I would love to collaborate or do something that's somewhat similar and test decks out, find the new metas. I think my goal always is going to be finding the meta. Having a math background, especially in optimization, my focus was always optimizing and finding the best. Whatever it is, it had to be the best. So this game is very similar. I want to find the best combination of cards, the best combination of tactics. I want to have the best advantage I can possibly have. And I think that many people don't like it when people run meta decks, but at the same time, I definitely think that by running a meta deck, you only set yourself up for the opportunity. You still have to have the skill to take down a tower, especially at tournament standards. Ladder's completely different story. But to win 12 wins in a grand challenge, you have to have some sliver of skill. It doesn't just happen on accident. That being said, this deck has gotten me maybe 5 to 10, 12 wins, and I went back and looked at my log and actually had 3 or 4 in a row, and I was saying, man, and then I got greedy and played very aggressive, and I tried to get it so that my whole log was 12, and I ended up losing. That was recently, so the meta has shifted, and I hadn't shifted with it, and now I'm trying to get back in the grain. So even though I may play a same deck over and over again in multiple videos, I'm always looking for what is the next best. And I hope that one day you say, man, I found the best deck in the current meta because I watched a video from Timelapze, and if I do that, I've hit my goal. That is a big goal for me now. Now that I've said it, I'm going to work for it. I'm going to try and find the best decks. I love that this game has changed so much. That was a little bit of a mistake right there. If I had gotten that ice golem down a little bit earlier, I might have had a chance, but I think the game was over, so wasn't too worried. But I think it's great how much this game has progressed. Like I said today, they announced Game Battles Team Ladder, which is fantastic. It's going to have similar rules to like Royale Premier League and other leagues that have developed. I think it would be something great for Supercell to implement into the game. Rather than Clan Wars, something like 5v5, let's say you have 5 of your clanmates on, everybody can queue up and you get 3 to 5 people from your clan to all queue up. and now you're all in a little party together, and then everybody chips in, say, 1 gem, and if you have 5 of you, you chipped in 5 gems, and then you go, and there's another clan that has 5 clanmates that have all queued up, and they chip in 5 gems, so there's 10 gems in the prize pool, and the losing team gets, say, 1 gold piece each, and the winning team gets however much 10 gems wins for you, split 5 ways. And whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be big. I mean, it could even be free and you just get your chest. Who knows? Maybe there's a separate chest slot that's just for team type chests, and you get one. Maybe it has like a 10-minute timer and it's really low in terms of the amount of coins and gold or whatever that comes in it. Who knows? I have no idea. Somebody else smarter than me could probably figure that out, but I do think it would be good for the game if you had something that's a little bit more team-based. I think the clan chest, and people have talked about clan wars, are good steps in the right direction if there's a way to implement that. But if you could make some sort of a multiplayer type mode, not to say 2v2, but if you could do a 1v1v1v1, you have 5 members from Team A playing 5 members from Team B, winner take all type thing. Even if it's just a one and done, you don't play multiple rounds, you just play one opponent once and you gotta win it for your team, and if you lose, the rest of your teammates are gonna know it's your fault. I think that would be very interesting to see, and I don't think it would be difficult to implement into the game. And you could even do it without clanmates, but I think if it was the only clanmate type deal, that you plus 4 clanmates jump into a queue, play another team, it'd be very easy for the matchmaking. I don't see why that would be difficult. That Inferno placement was a little bit off. I should have placed it 1 over. It's more mistakes being made. It's hard to... That was a pre-planted tornado. I got a little bit lucky there. I got a lot of value out of that, actually, so that was kind of exciting. I got a little bit greedy with this graveyard, but somehow all my troops are still alive. He tornadoed very well. He pulled it back, which was actually very skillful. He put the tornado on my side. Even watching this game over and over again, I continue to pick new things up. So it's exciting for me. I was actually very appreciative that he took some time out to hop in our clan, because we played 7 games and it took about as long as this video, about a half hour. That was a lot of time. I know he's a student. He's got a lot going on. That was something he did not need to do, but that's the type of guy Colton is. He's one for the community. I've seen him in Discord. He took the time to play a few friendlies with me. That's fantastic. I love to see that. I like when people that have had success interact with people that emulate that or want to do something similar. So I was very appreciative of Colton taking some time. That being said, in the next tournament or next time there's anything competitive, I'm going to try and win. And I hope that he plays the same deck as me, because that'll really showcase something spectacular. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. This is the last game, and he plays the Minor Rocket, which both of us were kind of in agreement. This deck just totally ruined my deck. Made me go completely back to the drawing board, which is why I'm making changes to it. In the next video, we'll be playing the other variant. Hopefully Colton uploads a video similar using another variant. I'd love to see what he's able to come up with. For those of you who haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. I do want to make an announcement. I just accepted an offer to merge clans with Wide. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Wide, but now between Wide, Doom, and Rise, we've made Cosmos Esports, and I'm very excited to be joining the Cosmos team. There's about 5 to 10 family clans. We're going to be giving Nova a run for their money, literally. I will be competing on ladder. That was actually a funny tornado right there. Oops. I will be competing on ladder, really trying to trophy push. I know that I'm not completely maxed, and I think about 5,000 to 5,200 might be about as high as I can get, but I'd hope to get our clan on the global leaderboard, so you'll be able to find me a little bit easier. And I'm going to be bringing a lot of gameplay from there, plus I'll be surrounded by some very talented players. I played a couple of games with them, both through practice and in RPL, and there are some very skilled players that will also be joining us on the Cosmos Esports team. And you'll be seeing some artwork for that on my YouTube channel pretty soon, and then I will do my official or grand launch, whatever you'd like to call it, once I hit the 100 sub mark, 30 days under the belt, getting a custom URL and all the artwork up, you won't have to have this boring silent in the background. You won't see the black on the side of the screens. We're going to have some changes coming around, and hopefully there are changes that everybody can agree are positive changes. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this game brings in 2017. I know we're a month through already, but I'm starting to get excited about some of the things coming up, especially the challenges that come up that are special challenges. Those are exciting. I think they're great additions to the game. I'm looking forward to the new meta that arrives once the battle, I don't even know what it's called, battering ram comes into the game. That's going to be very exciting. I think that it'll be cool if that card dies to lightning, because that could be some lightning bait. It hits the battering ram, then it hits the two barbarians. That would be interesting if people start comboing it with things that are typically weak to lightning. But that will be seen. Who knows? Who knows what other hidden mechanics are part of the card? We have not seen enough to really know. I'm looking forward to an OJ video to tell me a little bit more about it. I'm not a huge fan of this miner deck, so if it can do something to change that, great. I'm not the best miner player. I tried this deck. It did not work for me. I need to practice a little bit more. Colton, however, was very skilled and versatile in the decks that he played. But again, please subscribe and like the video if you actually liked it. If you didn't like it, then I guess don't like it and don't subscribe, because I'm going to be playing a lot more of this type of video. Again, thank you for those who are our early adopters and helping me on my way to the 100 mark. As soon as I get that custom URL, I'll probably do some sort of an Ask Me Anything or Q&A for those of you that don't know me, so you get to know me a little bit better. I just hopped in to show that it is the Colton. My clanmates got a little bit excited, but we had many spectators in those games, so it was a lot of fun. So I want to thank Colton one more time, and to the community. I look forward to developing this deck, and you can see it on screen. That's the variant I'm going to be testing out. All credit to Colton.